Welcome back to Vintage Story and to my single player world. My name's Ashantin. I have just upgraded to 1.17.2 and I have been reading the notes about the update, and the absolute richness of this update is staggering. I thought I would go through with you some of the things that I particularly like, or in some cases dislike, but I'm doing it from my own point of view. This is not a comprehensive point of view. I am not going into the sorts of amendments have been made to the ease with which the game flows, or how they've achieved the new water effects. I'm just going to talk about it from the point of view of what I think it has added to the visual richness of the game and the richness of the experience of the game. Where to start? Where else would I start? Those of you who know me know that I love gardening, I love flowers, I love fauna. Look at this view. Look at the water lilies. Yes, we have flowering water lilies, and that has added so much to the game. The earth flowers, it's brilliant. Carrying on with that theme, we have two new plants. This beautiful red top grass, which I think is absolutely astonishing. It's gorgeous. We have a new cacti. Look at this thing, silver torch cactus. Isn't that stunning? It's beautiful. I have found this up high in deserts. I found it on desert hills. So if you're having trouble finding it, try climbing your desert mountains and have a look there. We also have new termite mounds. We've always had little ones, but now we've got double height ones. And although this is limestone sand, these I believe are granite sand. The termite mounds now match the sand on which they spawn. This probably means I need to go and find some in a limestone desert, but they are absolutely gorgeous. And it means that if I wanted to, I could have basalt sand termite mounds on a limestone sand desert. It's really, really lovely. And these are the water lilies up close. Really beautiful. The other thing is that we can actually put things underwater, which is, I think, a plus if you wanted your shelter collection to be underwater. What a good thing to have. Talking of visual richness, we have a new tool, a wrench. This is going to add so much to the experience of the game. If you've ever tried to place chutes, you will understand that being able to move the orientation of the block easily is fantastic. And also, it means that we can move our armor stands. Look at this. Oh, wow. Oh dear. I can see a lot of uses for that. Let's pop our wrench back. It took them a long time to be able to get this on the tool rack. In addition, have you noticed we can lean our tools and our weapons up against the wall? And this is what I mean by a lot of improved visual awareness. Being able to do this, being able to put more than one type of block in a square. Have I got them here? Yes. You can see I've got a bowl and these. It all adds to the visual richness of what we can do. I particularly like being able to lean tools up against the wall. It just adds to the visual quality of the game so much. One thing I do not like, however, is this weapon. Look at it. Look at the size of it. Look at the size of my folks. It covers a lot. And also, I loved the pure elegance of the longsword. Unfortunately, up here, the Forlorn Hope, S-Stock it's now called. We've got some really weird names. But fortunately, that's still straight. But it means that the rest of my swords now have curves on. I feel like a pirate running around all the time with this curved sword. But I can live with it. It's a nice design. It's very, very nicely done. I prefer the elegance of the longsword. I would have loved to have had both, but we do have a new sword and we will live with it, won't we? One of the interesting things is that in the old editions of the game, you could use a stone axe to take most trees down. This is no longer the case. There are certain trees like purple heart tree and I believe ebony. You have to have high-end axes. I think that's a bit unfair. I do think that new players ought to be able to use ebony, purple heartwood if you come across them. I just think that it's so hard to get really up and running in the game when you first start and get used to it, that it seems a shame to me that they're not able to take trees down. But talking of visual richness, we added fluffy bushes to the game. One of the new effects that I think really adds to the visual richness is that instead of just being square blocks, our berry bushes are now fluffy. Look at these flowering berry bushes. Isn't this delightful? They look fantastic. And when you wade through them, it really feels like you are in a field of berry bushes. I think that's just fantastic. I'm absolutely loving that one. So that's one that I really do appreciate when it comes to the visual richness of the game. In addition to having the visual richness of the berry bushes, we have also got more animals. And I think they add a huge amount. Look at the fish. We only have one type of fish, a salmon, and it spawns in northern climates, so you have to have a certain element of cold. But they're gorgeous, then there's a very nice fluidity to their movements. It's just very, very good. Look at it. Beautiful, and they do go away from you. And I think having got one fish that looks so good, this will open the door to more fish. You can also kill this and eat it. I do not want to kill and eat my fish. I'm too fond of them to do that. But I think that the fish have added a great deal. In addition to fish, we have herds of gazelles that inhabit warmer climes, and they are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. They have added so much in terms of elegance. They're beautiful, but they run away from us all the time. Look at them over there. As soon as they see you, they run away. They're so difficult to photograph or to see close up. But the fact that they're there is absolutely glorious. Look at them. Really loving them. Absolutely loving the gazelles. And of course then we have the bears. Whoops, here we go. I was just trying to show you the polar bear. Let me show you some grizzlies as well. I have found, so far, I have found pandas, I have found black bears, I haven't found some bears, but my favourite of all are the grizzlies, and let me show you why. They are just so gorgeous. Wow, look at this. Yep, I've died to a grizzly yet again. I want to have a look at her. I'm assuming it's a her. I don't know why. It could be a he. But I just think this one is a her. Have you fallen into the pit with the others? Yes, you have. Oh, good. Can we get a good look at you? Hello. Look at that. Look at... Oh, she's got her head in a... She's sulking with her head in a block. Let's go down and release her. No grizzly bear should be stuck like that. She will kill us. That's all right. Ooh, look at you. Who's a gorgeous girl? Isn't she lovely? Oh, she doesn't like... Oh, splendid. Do that again, please. Yep, look this way. Come here, honey. Look at me. There's a gorgeous girl. Come on, up you come. Up you come. Yes. Well, that was lucky. So, I actually love the bears. Yes, they kill me all the time. Do I care? I do not. I think they are a great addition to the game. We have some beautiful seed blocks now, or seed pods, and the 3D effect is fantastic, and we are now able to put them in display cases. I think this is just wonderful. Added to that, we are starting to make our own clothes. Look at this. They actually increase the slight orangey yellowness of the sun as it sets, and I think it's a slightly subtle effect, but the subtle effect of that and the water is fantastic. But look what we can do now. We can make hats, and they are absolutely gorgeous, I think. Right, let's start with the straw hat. All right. Oh, look at that. How good is that? It's fantastic. Let's take the straw hat off and put the bamboo cane hat on. Now, a lot of people like doing Japanese builds. This is going to be fantastic. There are two, a large one and a small one. But my favorite is the top hat. I think this is just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So I love that. Now, added to that, we also have armour that now shows what state of repair it's in. So if you look at my armour here, I have recently fought my way through a cave and been killed by a couple of bears. So I look absolutely moth-eaten. I'm not sure whether I look like Baron Sandy or whether I look like the Artful Dodger from Oliver Twist, but I certainly look raddled. But, and this is the good thing, we've got a lot more in this help menu. If you look at Tailored Gambeson, here we go, which is basically what I've got on. Here we go. It will give us the basic crafting for Tailored Gambeson, but also it shows you how you mend it. So it should show you how to mend your body armour as well. And I think that's pretty good. So we can mend armour. There's been a lot of issues getting that to work correctly, but we can mend armour. Let me put my two spare hats back in here. There we go. So we can do all that. So we can mend armour. Now, you may have noticed the black hat I have on, and that black hat is made with dyed cloth. Now, the dyeing mechanism has been altered, and I like it a lot. I really do. I think the new one is much, much more effective. So what happens with this new way of doing it is that you make your dyes by just adding whatever makes that colour dye to water. But then what you have to do is to make diluted alum or diluted cassiterite as a mordant. You have to soak your cloth, and that's mordanted cloth. You can see how it looks that peculiar colour, and that means it will hold the dye. You then put your mordanted cloth in. Now that to me is a much better method than we had. But the other thing I like about it is if you look at dyes and say blue dye, this was driving me mad, the sort of speed of this. But now what you can do is that you hover your mouse over what you want to look at so that it slows it down. You have time to read it. That is a fantastic, fantastic way forwards. And it works for all dyes. If we look at black dye, again, you know, you just hover over it and it stops. And then you can go back and see how many of each you need. That's a huge improvement. Absolutely huge. While we are talking about armor, the shields have undergone a revolution, I would say, both in the way you make them. Hang on. We could have crude shields, aged wooden shields. There are now 300 types of shield. Unbelievable. But we have 300 types of shield. I'm sure there are people who are going to want to make every single one of those 300. But the problem is you can't hang them on the wall. They won't go on tool racks. You know, we need proper shield hooks and shield racks so that we could hang these on the wall and decorate our armories with wonderful shield patterns. The other thing we need is, if we're going to have hats, I would very much like to be able to hang them on something or to put them on a table, which you can't do at the moment. All these things we need to be able to show off our collections, please. The other thing that is exciting me is I don't think they're in the game yet, or if they are, I haven't come across them. But the way has been opened to have 3 wide paintings, because again, looking at this help side, you can see that we've got the paintings here, and we've got this one painting last day, and this one painting sod house, and look, you can make a house out of sod. I believe that these are both wider than just the one. I haven't come across these yet. And also a lot of these paintings that I have, Traveller's Solitude, Hunter in the Forest, Sleeping Wolf I haven't got yet, Sunken Ruin I've got. A lot of these I have only come across in the traders that have come in new generated lands. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? So we have lots of new paintings, but I still have more to collect. Another feature of the game is that these storm clouds can now give rise to huge lightning storms, and we can be hit by lightning, and it will kill everything within 8 blocks of the lightning strike, and they are very ferocious, very impressive. But we have these absolutely splendid lightning rods. Now, I think at the moment you can only make them out of copper. But the reason I've got 4 up here is so that my very tall building does not get hit by lightning. And you make these at a forge. You can't pour them into a mould. You have to forge them out of copper bars. But they are, I think, a triumph of design. I just love them. Absolutely love them. One of the biggest changes is the water mechanic, and there's a lot of work gone into this, and a lot of interesting side effects were caused. I think it's a very good visual one, but I think it's also very realistic. Where the game has a block that it considers is not a whole block, the water will go through it. So fences it will go through. Trap doors it will go through. Other fences it will go through. It doesn't consider stairs to be a full block, so it will go through them. And the very interesting thing is this one, acacia slabs. That's a slab. If you have a slab on the bottom, it will flow over the top. But if you put it further down the run, which is a bit difficult to do at the moment, let's just, oops, pick up all my pieces, and then I will show you this. Yes. Oh, what? Bony soil? Right, let's carry on. So here, let's just pick up my bits and pieces from there. If you look down here, the level of the water, I believe, just take this one out as well. The level of the water here should be lower than the slab. Sorry, trying to put this horizontally. I'm a bit thrown by finding bony soil here. There. And can you see, if the level of the water is lower than the slab will stop it. I think that's a great, great mechanic. So that all works. And also if you put a door in, it still does not regard it, in my world, as being a full slab, so it still flows through it. I'm not sure that's the same with everyone. So where it, like any block that it doesn't consider to be a full block, particularly stairs and fences and gates, it's going to flow through. That's a really, really good mechanic. However, there is a part of the mechanic here that I do not like, and you guys know what this is going to be. I love the fact that in new territory, stones are now starting to form under the water, and we are able to place things under the water, which I'm not going to show you. It's pretty obvious. But if we go underwater, oh no! We have an oxygen meter and we can drown. Now I understand this has been a widely sought. Do I put improvements in inverted commas? I think I do. Anyway, I used to love being amphibious. I thought it was absolutely great. So I really don't see why I should not be able to be amphibious. But there is an amendment you can make to give yourself 10 hours of breathing time. So I'm not unhappy about that one, because I know that the game will change and Tyron will put in the amendments so that we can suit ourselves. And frankly, if we can put in a number that enables us to have 10 hours of breathing time, that's perfect. We probably won't need more than that. So Atlantis is once again within reach. To me, one of the best things is that they have altered the maps, in that you put in the name of what you want to mark. If you want to pin something, like I pin my home, you can't see it because I'm standing in it, but I've got a trader I wanted to explore pinned down here. You can pin it or not. But I hated trying to remember all the colours you could use. Now you just click on a colour and it will put it in your map. The icons, I believe, are the same, which is a bit of a disappointment, because I would love to have had a tree, but nonetheless having them like this rather than the list is so much better. And to me, this has saved me hours, and I'm absolutely delighted with it. So that to me is fantastic. I'm enjoying that enormously. There are enhanced temporal storm effects, where beyond the horizon these huge cogwheels turn round, and when you look at your world, the actual blocks bleed. It's wonderful. I love it. It's added a whole new dimension for me. So I'm loving those new effects. I am not going to trigger a Temporal Storm just to show you the new effects, but I do love them. I think they add a lot to the game. There are a couple of final things. Firstly, there is a chilling sentence at the end, at the very end of the update notes, that Tyron has sort of sneaked in. And it says that pumpkins and pineapples placed down from now on will spoil. Now, a lot of people use pumpkins for decoration in various forms, and a lot of us do rely on having sort of eternal pumpkins and pineapples for a little bit of food reserve. So I'm not sure how popular this is going to be, and I'm not sure how many people have read that bit yet. But it's there, guys. One of the most interesting aspects is that we now have clutter blocks. Now, we can't pick these up at the moment because if I've tried to pick some of them up and they have just completely disappeared in my hand. I haven't mended this translocator yet. It is waiting for the 1.18 update. But these, it says ruins. This is a ruined drill. Look at this. This is a ruined ladder. I'm hoping desperately we'll be able to mend these. We've got stone rubble. On here is a ruined chair. Wow, somebody's really broken that. I'm not getting at this table because I don't want to destroy this block in case I can do something with it. Now, most of these ruined blocks, I'm not, there's a ruined bed over there. They look as if they're going to just be rubble, sort of visual decoration, but no more. But look at this. This is a metal barrel. I want this. And I'm hoping that in 1.18 I'm going to be able to pick it up. So what we've got here is a precursor of the 1.18 update, which is going to be the lore update. So this should be something to really look forwards to. That was my own personal take on the 1.17.2 update. As you have probably gathered, there is so much that I really, really like about this update. As always, there are one or two things I don't like, but that's okay. We will get round them, we will move round them, and they may alter over time. On the whole, I think this is a great update, and I'm very pleased with the jobs the devs have done. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing to me. So goodbye from your moth-eaten friend.